Hello there. I'm Sean. I'm here with my friend Fong, and today it's another episode of Robots, Detectives, and Spies. We're talking about 2023's The Creator, a film directed and co-written by Gareth Edwards. Yeah, this is an interesting one in terms of this. It's the way I have this structured, we had a little bit of conversation about this. Is that there's also the film itself, but also the way the film was made. Did you get a chance to look at some of the material and stuff like the behind the scenes stuff, or?
Yeah, I did watch those YouTube video you mentioned. So, firstly, by the way, I'm Phong. I'm from Vietnam, and my name's spelled Phong. In case anybody wonder
Yeah.
how would you say it? All right. Um, so I was impressed with the movies in terms of like um, the production and cinematography, and I feel like there was something I don't feel it um, like another Hollywood blockbuster because the way the camera moves.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there must be some kind of like gimbal movement, like
Yes.
gimbal movement in there, and it turned out to be when I watched the behind the scene video, it was a lot of gimbal movement, and the
Mm-hmm.
director actually worked with the camera himself, so very impressive, and
Yeah.
yeah, we,
What was yeah 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 what was did you had you heard of this film before I mentioned it or?
No, actually, you introduced. I mean, when I was scrolling down my friend videos or Netflix, I saw it, the poster, but
Yeah.
and I'm not like a big fan of like AI, like movie and stuff. So I
No.
was like, if it really like people really talk about it, I would check it out. But usually I don't. Just like, looks good.
Yeah, yeah.
So you definitely introduced me to that movie.
Yeah, it was because this is 2023, so I'm trying to. That's what 3 years ago. Yeah,
At this point, yeah.
yeah, about 3 years ago. So I follow a bunch of like camera channels. So you get a lot of other recommendations on YouTube for like other camera channels. There's a bunch of channels that had like the Creator Rig, which is like
Hmm.
some kind of gimbal, the Sony
You
FX3
think
is.
that's like a DJI Ronin most part?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, some one of those, and then some kind of Atmos recorder with some kind of s- inexpensive but still kind of expensive like anamorphic lens on the
Hmm.
front, and there was something else, probably a follow focus of some sort and whatever like that. And so there was all these channels and breakdowns on it, and then there was a few the one I saw, the one that was the interview with the uh, not Greg Fraser, but the guy that replaced Greg Fraser after he went to go shoot Dune.
Hmm.
The other, I can't remember his name. And then I was like, this is really interesting. The idea from the idea of like an independent filmmaker of making a film with incredibly small, agile crews. They basically booked a huge flight, flew all over, I think mostly Asia, but they flew over like Thailand, parts of Indonesia or Micronesia, whichever one it was, and then maybe I don't know if they went to China, but basically,
Mostly Southeast Asian, so
yeah,
Asian countries,
yeah, and then
and
oh yeah,
and I'm sorry, I think they also shot a couple of scenes in Vietnam too, because
mm-hmm.
I can recognize those
It's like,
places,
yeah,
not much, but I was like, that's definitely
it's fine,
Vietnam.
it's
So
fine, yeah,
I
it's
mean,
fine.
in terms of like you know, geography, Vietnam and Thailand have pretty similar kind
Yeah,
of like like scenery. So
yeah,
and I'm pretty confident there's a couple scenes I can see Vietnam
yeah.
in there.
It's the so they would have like instead of having like you have huge crews typically. I think they were like 6, 15, like probably more on that. But in terms of like actual like production crews, it was much
Yeah.
smaller. And I guess you would have that, so they weren't even shutting down sets. And so the Gareth Edwards is a visual effects artist by trade. Like I think he started off with a DIY set up in his basement and kind of developed on and doing documentaries. And then he did a movie called Monsters in 2010. Monsters, which is about two people traveling through Mexico. Which he and the two actors basically went down to Mexico, and they moved. It's like a similar-ish idea. So it's his first film, and then he did the 2014 Godzilla, and then he did Star Wars, and then he did this film. And more recently did Jurassic Park, which I never saw, but my sister said it wasn't good, so whatever. But there's a in film they call it cinema verite, I think is the term. It's like documentary style. So maybe I'm mispronouncing it. But like in the French would have, when they got those small handheld cameras, they would try to shoot a lot of films that didn't look like studio-ish films that could kind of run around. And so it's almost like half the film is what it is. The other half of the film is just him going on vacation. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
recording random stuff and visual effecting. So you got like someone's like storing rice, now it's a robot. It's like that. Yeah. But yeah, the filmmaking on it seemed really interesting, and I got mixed feelings on, at least at the time, on Rogue One. I've seen Godzilla 2014. It's not my favorite of the modern Godzillas. There's Shin Godzilla and Godzilla minus one. I think are a little bit better.
Yeah.
But he's a good visualist, like a real, kind of like the guy that made District 9 and all that stuff, where
Yeah.
the visual effects background.
Actually, yeah, because we step on District 9. It's just such like a interesting movie. I personally watched that.
Yeah.
First of all, like that's
Yeah.
that's a funny idea where like all these like aliens creatures become like a slum. Like nobody would nobody. I never seen it like in cinema history would think the aliens would just
Yeah.
crash to the earth and just like become like a slum neighborhood. I'm like.
Yeah.
Interesting, it's perspective, and also impressed. How old was the District 9?
It's like 2009, 2010.
Yeah, and we still talk about their VFX, like
Yeah.
the transformation of these like
sure.
creatures is well made, and it's very, 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 very interesting.
Yeah, the director, and I can't remember his name. They were talking about him being the next Spielberg after that film. It didn't end up that way. He made Gran Turismo, which was all right a couple years back. The car, it was kind of like F1, but a little bit cheaper. But that film was I'll bring that film up too, because they both were visual effects artists that figured out ways to make a film much cheaper. So District 9 was actually it's South Africa, so there's a lot of references to apartheid and all that stuff in it. And then Peter Jackson, I think, had some involvement in that from Lord of the Rings. But it was a cheaper budgeted film at the time, like a lot of local actors. And you got Shartley Copley, who's a South African actor. He's been in other stuff, like like the A-Team remake and all that stuff, which is maybe just me saw that. But yeah, it's a... Man, I completely lost my train of thought. But it's that idea of basically the film idea of going out and just shooting a bunch of stuff. I think the big thing they said in the behind the scenes was that they were trying to, instead of building stages, they were just trying to go and find the images they want. And so it was cheaper for them to fly all over the world than it was to build sound stages and all that stuff. Because once you build a sound stage, it's like you could either fly a crew out there for so many $1,000s, or you could build a set for that amount, which is really cool. It's an interesting out of box thinking, and the original budget for the film was going to be like 300 million, and they got it down to 80, which is
Yeah,
pretty
like close to 100. But
Yeah.
it's like
John Wick
you
territory.
scringe.
Yeah,
You basically cut 66% of like original budget, which is a lot.
it's really good. Yeah, and like I said, a lot of films in those price ranges are like Nobody or John Wick or some you got running around with a gun. It's not like a sci-fi movie, you
Yeah.
know. There's some stuff on YouTube too, like Ian Herbert, who does a bunch of Blender stuff, but it'll take him several years to make a film, at the scale he does. They're really weird, surrealist stuff. So can't necessarily. It looks cool. It's got that kind of like a late '80s anime kind of inspired thing, but it's just some weird David Lynch nonsense. But yeah, moving on. So that was really interesting. It's like that video, the interview where he was talking about like cameras have gotten good enough that you don't have to think about the specs. It's just a device. And so it's kind of really funny. You got that guy talking about that, and they got all these guys like, you too can be just as cool as Gareth Edwards if you build this, $6,000 rig. Even though you don't have his technical skill or ILM or all that
Yeah,
stuff,
well,
yeah, the production company's backing you and $80 million. Um, but it's a very novel way of making a film. So I was really rooting for this film because I was like, I got mixed feelings on Rogue One. I hadn't seen Monsters yet. I actually think his first film is probably I haven't seen Jurassic Park. It's the only film of his I haven't seen yet that I'm aware of. But Monsters is it's just like a love story basically. It's just two
yeah,
characters,
yeah.
and so it's very simple. I don't I so it's a good starting point for a career. It's
Okay.
like it's a step above Primer in terms of like. Have you seen Primer?
No.
Okay, that's a can of worms. But it's a time travel movie made by an engineer basically.
Okay.
It's very technical, very like mumbly all that stuff, but it's very like very minimal, whatever. Where District 9 is a real sci-fi film, where
Mhm.
Monsters is very low budget. It's just a guy with a camcorder running around Mexico, basically. It's got some really good scenes. You can see a lot of the DNA,
Mhm.
like the scenes with the giant monsters are shot away so that and he did all his own visual effects and all that stuff too, which was quite good. So anyways, yeah. So we got the rig. So basically, one other thing too is that they basically shot a bunch of like, is it candid? Is that the word I'm looking for? Like footage for like, I think they mentioned a scene where like there's a grandmother handing a girl a candy bar, and then they just kind of replace her face with a robot face, and that's just like a kind of a beat they throw in the film. Like there's a lot of stuff of just normal people doing normal people stuff, and they use visual effects to make them into robots,
Oh,
in the film.
yeah. You mean the
Yeah.
creator?
Yeah, creator, yes. Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry.
yeah, they had. I think I saw the video of the VFX production. So
Yeah.
basically, they would just film like normal footage,
Yeah.
and then would add a layer on. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like completely like CGI
No.
or anything complicated like that. They just basically film the normal footage and they put a layers
Yes.
of robotics like components into
Yeah.
human body, which I mean I don't know I would say I've seen that before, but
No.
it interesting to
Yeah.
to learn that
If you compare to
process.
say something like Alita Battle Angel or something, it looks much more real. Like it doesn't look as like
It looked much more real than
but
because yeah,
like
yeah.
the skin is all real skin, and the robots, it's pretty easy to do metal in 3D. I mean, they've been doing it since Iron Man,
Hmm.
or actually earlier, like in decent reflections, all that. Yeah, it was. You could definitely tell he has a bit of idea of visual effects, but a background in visual effects. So yeah, but that's the film. What did you think of like the actual film? Like, obviously you didn't see those videos before, and you didn't have a lot of that. But like the first time I watched it, what did you think of the film?
You mean in terms of like technicalities or more like the film itself, like the plot, the character development?
You could you break down. I mean, we got time. You could do
Yeah.
technical. You could do any other approach. I mean,
I mean, I'm not like a filmmaker, so
no,
technically, there's things I like and there's things I don't like, but I don't have the background to really like
sure.
talk to you about it. But the movie itself, the plot, I mean, it's a great like um because they use like real environment
Yes,
footage. So the Thailand Bay looks amazing.
yes.
Those beaches,
It's a great. It's a
the
great like travel doc.
yeah. I mean, you should visit. You would love the beaches there.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling you. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Those shot where they say the new Asia, right?
Yes.
So those corn crops, cornfield. I can tell you as a Vietnamese, it make me miss home.
Mm.
It's it's off. It's great. Filming is because you wouldn't see it that much in like um, that part about like South Asia, which is great to see.
Yeah.
But I guess my biggest problem with the movie is the dialogue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just don't there's some dialogue conversation that I really don't like how they roll it. It
Yeah.
just it's kind of like
We got company.
confusing, very confusing. A lot of the plot was part of the movie I was questioning, like, could it be, greater? And
Yeah.
I guess I can reference one
Yeah,
one detail in the movies. So when the kid
Yeah.
with the protagonist went over to Nepal to see the mother, right?
Yes.
And I was like, what's the point? Like, okay, you gotta hear me out over here, because when I saw the like that plot point, like you can say the peak, like it's like the 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 realizations of like the whole purpose of that kid. Because I was like, okay, so she created this kid,
Yes.
the most, it's gonna be the most impactful AI creations in human history, and she left the kid in the New Asia, let's say in Thailand, somewhere,
Very far
but
away.
yeah, pretty far away, and she basically had she basically had severe brain damage, so she's just, her body's just lying
Yeah, she's in a coma.
on the
Yeah.
ICU in a coma,
Yeah.
all the way up Nepal. And she won this guy in Los Angeles,
Yes.
came back, find the kid, and basically risking his life to get the kid to the Nepal mountain, and just see her lying like dead in coma. And even and her will was like, she want him to turn off.
Oh.
She want him to like put her down.
Yeah. The kind of mercy killing or something. I don't know if she wanted that because she would have been brain dead for 5 years by that point.
Yeah, but I because the kid, when I don't know what happened, but the kid and the protagonist was so like in pain, and because he was the one putting her down,
Yes.
and I was, what's the point? Because it, for me, it's like confusing
Yeah.
to build up all of this like
I-
intent, like
Yeah.
like surviving battle against the force.
I think it's from a like a writing perspective. I think the filmmaker or the two writers who worked on this film know that they need to have him have a goal, but it stays dead wife the whole film. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then he kind of drifts between alliances pretty quick. Like sometimes he's with the Americans, sometimes he's with the robots. It's like it's not even that clean. It's kind of more like that one scene where they're on the bridge and he just shoots the guy. And the robot's like, well, I guess he's on our side, yeah. But the thing with the wife is, I don't think that she wanted, because she was just out of it at
Yeah.
that point. I think the robots weren't allowed to harm her, which is really interesting. That bothered me actually, because it means if you can make it so robots can't act on her, assumably her own, but assuming that's something she would have wanted, and that gets into some complicated like ethics and stuff. But the robots can't basically put her out of her own misery. Why not expand that to like Isaac Asimov's rules of robotics? Like a robot can't harm a human being under any circumstances, which is a big thing of. And the rules of robotics were made to be broken. It's a story thing, but I should have wrote those down. But a robot cannot harm another human being. There's a few exceptions for that. So like the Hippocratic Oath or something like that. So the idea that if you could make AIs that cannot harm a single person, why not expand that out to all the rest of them?
I mean
That would fix a lot of issues.
I can see the ambition of like,
Yeah.
because at that point they already make the AI or robot pretty advanced. Like
Yes.
they do show like, emotion and
Yeah.
aggressions against, like, let's say the force.
Well, they got the intro, right? So they're showing all that stuff where they're developing, and there's a scene where like, yeah, we got robot cops, and then they show like police putting down like a protest, and you see robots in the protest too, and I was like, wait, so how does that work? You're like, oh, you're a robot, eh? Are you gonna be a cop or a protester?
I mean, at some point I get pretty lost in like what really like the
So I wonder, yeah, assuming people haven't seen this film, the creator is basically in the year 2065, and I have issues with that, but I don't know if I'm going to get into that today. Robots have been around since like the 50s. I don't know if it's a different 50s, 40, 50s. I got old footage of like really old looking robots, and then by the time you get to the 60s, I got robots that look exactly the same as they do later on in the film, running around doing stuff like surgeries in like somewhere between the 60s and the 80s. So robots have been, AI has been a thing, either due to brain scans or super advanced computers. And they don't look like people, so it's not like Blade Runner where they're just artificial people. It's like they are able to assimilate all the, let's say, outward expressions of being a person. The film never really answers the question if they're people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like
I
it doesn't even play around with it that much.
I mean they have the actual robot where it looked like a robot, but also in the movie I guess you still remember they're like hybrid.
Yes.
Where like they AI the robot, but they have like human like face and
Yeah.
facial emotions.
I never got the idea that the ones that had the
they
anime face.
they just say like
Yeah.
but they never explain
Yeah.
the classification
Well,
of like
they
difference.
They did a thing in the Astro Boy reboot, which was like 2003, where they had like, oh, these new robots have this very new software that is almost it's imperceptibly different than human emotional experience. And so like for all intents and purposes these robots are sentient beings or something. Well, the problem is it's like this one they have a couple weird curveballs. Brain scanning. So some of these robots are based off of brain scans, which gets kind of weird territory with that. Especially like later on in the film where they the military does a brain scan, which is a thing that they just have in a backpack they carry around.
I mean that
She left it there and then it was gone, and the next time they went back.
there's so many like questionable things
We-
I see in the movie.
We are principally against AI except for when it's convenient.
I mean, let's just simplify
Yeah.
the word in the movies. So basically,
Yeah.
if anyone haven't seen the movies,
Yeah.
so there's supposed to be like a nuke,
Yes.
the actual nuke, drop to LA, Los Angeles,
Yes.
and that's the reason why let's say the United States government was against the AI of the robotic thing. So all the AIs, all the robotics technology was wiped out of the United States.
Yeah.
And in the movie they say all the robot and AI like creators, the engineer of these robot fleet to Southeast Asia. They call
Yes.
the New Asia. I mean, let's just hypothetically saying it was New Asia, but in the movie it basically based on South Asian country.
Yes.
So Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia,
Yeah.
Nepal. Which not part South Asian, but it's New Asia. Let's just pretend that. So
Oh, is it Nepal somewhere else or?
it's I would say it next to China, so it's more like north. So it's not South Asian
Okay.
country anymore. It's more like South Asian
I
country.
just thought it was cool. It had to be there.
Yeah. Because they need all these like mountaineer like scenes,
Yes,
high mountain,
yes.
which only Nepal
Yeah, they
had.
had to get the monk-
They had Mount Everest.
They had to get the monk robots in. For
Yeah,
some
they need the
reason.
monk to have a little bit more like Buddhism like perspective
Yeah.
in the movies, I guess. So
For some
okay,
reason.
yeah, for some reason, okay.
The robots are monks. Yeah. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
I'm sorry. So that's two separate words. I'm very confused. Like, okay, so
Yeah.
let's say the USA in the movies. Okay, the robots AI is bad.
Yes.
They got eradicated in a state. They basically, if you they in the movie, if the humans see any AI robot, they have the right to destroy it. Let's
Yes.
just snap.
Yeah.
But then all the robots just like flee to New Asia, and they say in the movies the government is in in the support of these robots. Like
Yes.
they basically the robot become refugee in
Yes.
these like New Asian country.
And also police too.
Yeah. So basically the U.S. Force.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that the USA force. I'm just saying in the movies they're literally the USA
Yeah. They're-
have a force to eradicate AI, but the AI flee to New Asia,
Yes.
and New Asia country government actually support AI.
And they also say like the West too. So it might be also Europe might be against
Yeah,
it too.
I guess
Maybe Russia.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and thank you for saying the West, because I actually forgot the term, like how they call
East
these
versus
these
West.
countries,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
West and New Asia.
Yeah.
Basically, there's two region in the movies.
Yes.
One totally against AI, totally one
Yeah.
the total eradications of AI and robot, which New Asia is like the refugee.
Wonder what Africa
land
thought. Who knows?
who knows? I mean, we not in the script. We really don't know. Like, but
not-
you know, it plays into the world building of the
Yes.
whole movie, so you have better perspective of understanding.
I guess it could be some kind of. I don't even know what that would map onto, because the Cold War is not like that in terms of that. The civil rights movement wasn't like that. It's. I guess the whole idea that because you look at anime, robots are a little bit more positively. It's more nuanced. Like they can live alongside robots. They sometimes have issues with robots, but like, but then here, but in the West, we got Terminator. But that's too generalized. You know what I'm saying? And also, it's Japan as a stand-in for all that. So, I know that the if you got a bachelor degree in like media studies, they would tell you that Japan has a more interesting approach to the way they represent AI in media, and that could be the reason why they made that choice. I just think it's funny that like, the Russians just aren't a part of this.
I mean, like I said, we not in
Yeah.
in this we don't have the screenplay, so
No.
we don't really know like
No,
what
I-
the whole world, like
Maybe-
what they meant by
Maybe Russia's just like, we're just gonna sit this
Well-
one out. We got other things to worry
yeah.
about.
Well, I guess we just
Because here's the thing.
pretend.
So obviously the nuke that starts the whole war
Mm-hmm.
because Los Angeles got blown up, and they see that robots as an existential threat. All
Mm-hmm.
that stuff that it's us versus them. So the robots all go to New Asia or whatever they call it. It was really interesting to me. So they built Nomad, the United States, which is this giant missile. It's like it's like Star Wars, but not an EMP.
I would say if so
I
for
mean,
somebody
Reagan Star Wars. Yeah.
haven't watched the movie,
Yeah.
it's look like a because I saw those though the Nomad, right? The
Yes.
Nomad. I think they based on some sort of like I seen those shapes somewhere
Yeah.
in different movies.
Yeah, the guy worked on a Star Wars film before this. When I say Star Wars, I mean like Reagan Star Wars, which is from the 80s, which is
Yeah.
the idea of knocking out like Russian stuff with a giant
Yeah.
EMP field. But this was like the weird thing about Nomad, and this might be a tangent, but it's like the laser would move on the ground. So for the first, I've seen this movie at least twice, right? So first half of the movie, I thought Nomad was just really big, flying around,
Yeah.
and that laser was moving. And then when you see it target multiple targets, like you realize it could just do multiple target lasers.
Yeah.
So like they will look up and see Nomad up in the sky and freak out, but like practically speaking,
I mean, you can just fire a missile, like you can just basically fire like a
Yeah.
like air missile. It's not that like it's not in the orbit.
it is
it's
an
pretty,
orbit.
Is it?
Yeah, it's in orbit. Yeah, that's what I was saying when they're freaking out because they have to take a space shuttle to get to it, and when it shoots all those different targets,
I guess that was
that's really confusing.
the distant
The scale,
the scale perspective
Yeah,
here is
yeah.
pretty confusing because because when we saw the movie, like we thought Nomad was like up there. Like, it's not that far, It's just
No.
like look like a
Just really
from
big.
just really big, and it's flying somewhere like in the like the
'Cause-
commercial air,
Yeah.
like airplane like
Yeah.
attitude.
Yeah.
But then later they reveal it's just so high up in the orbit, like
Yeah.
it's just 5 missile, like where no way you can
'Cause-
like attack it.
Yeah, so because maybe we could go into the inciting instance. After you have this whole montage, the film begins with this montage, and it's showing the robots. There's a bunch of 50s newsreels, and it goes to like 70s television, 60s, 70s television, then turns into like early 2000s cable or something like that, where they're talking about because this stuff all been happening like 15 years ago in its timeline. But so after the main character, David Washington. I don't know was it Joshua? Was that his name? David Washington's. He's Denzel Washington's son.
Okay.
I'll just go.
Is that the same guy play in the Tenet?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. Once I realized it was Denzel, he's got his voice sounds really similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like but he doesn't look different. But you know what I'm saying? It's like it's like they clone the voice. It's really weird. But he's undercover and he's married to Maya. Is that her name?
Yeah. Maya.
Yeah, Maya. Yeah, and Maya is a woman that does something that's related to robotics and lives with robots.
Mm-hmm.
What he thinks she does is not very clear until they reveal what she actually does later.
Mm-hmm.
So the Americans show up early because he's still trying to figure out who Narmada is, which is this whole mastermind. The one guy that built all the robots or something, because it wouldn't take a whole army of people to do that.
Yeah.
To design AI and all that stuff. So if you kill one guy, all robots, whatever. It's like a movie where you take out the villain, all the robots shut down or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the special forces attack. They blow his cover. He's all like, we're in that scene where his wife runs off and they're holding him for some reason.
Yeah.
He's all like, no, and then
I mean, okay.
I could have.
That's kind of fun. It's kind of comical to see that scene.
It's like-
'Cause, okay,
It's like, hey, ranking officer.
like
Yeah.
we all see the scale of like the bomb, and we can see Nomad just the airship
Yeah.
just right there dropping it. So he's like not far away from his wife. He's like
No.
200 feet. That's it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter. Like if
The
she
shockwave.
gone, he gonna be gone too. But turn out she missed.
Well, she was better off than he was.
She went
Yeah.
missing, and he's just like, okay,
Oh yeah, I shouldn't say what it's.
nothing happened. He didn't got it. He didn't have any like
I think
injury after all.
I think I was when they were showing the flashbacks. I think he lost his arm.
I think he already lost his arm.
Really?
When he with her initially.
Yeah, because they flash back to the first time he's given the mission. He's got both arms.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he had a more natural looking arm.
Yeah, that's one detail. But I'm pretty
Okay.
sure the first scene when he was with his wife,
Yeah.
she's pregnant and in their like beach house.
Yeah.
he already like
Yeah,
install and deinstall.
Yeah.
Uninstall his
Yeah.
arm, robotic arm.
Yeah, so like he basically chases her after breaking free from his comrades. For some reason, they're holding him down and stopping him from chasing her, which was. It's a movie thing. Maybe if it was in a better film, I wouldn't care. But he chases her down to the beach. She gets in a boat, and they're doing that whole thing where they're looking at each other. And then you see the laser targeting system from Nomad, and they're all like, "Oh no, there's nothing we can do," because there really isn't anything they can do. So I think my brain, when I first saw the film, thought that as Nomad moved, the laser would just move with Nomad, and so my brain is like, "Oh, maybe you can outrun it." So now, after seeing the end of the film, it can just shoot multiple laser systems all over the world, probably from its vantage point in orbit. So that's kind of funny. But I don't know if that's not even a spoiler. It's just a I was confused for the first half of the movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily the movie's fault, but yeah. So next thing you know, he wakes up and I guess he sleeps without the prosthetics on, so he's in like a hospital. He's getting all checked out, and then they ask him a bunch of stuff like take him to the lie detector. And he's got a job where he does a bunch of like,
Basically, like waste cleaning.
yeah,
in a
yeah.
way, yeah.
And they find a robot, and the one girl's freaking out. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like a real
I mean,
person.
I think you spoiling the movies. You,
I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
spoilers for the 3-year film, but
yeah, we talked a lot about the plot already, so I
But
guess
that's
if,
literally
if
the
you're
line.
interested in this
Yeah.
movie, you should check
Yeah,
it out.
it's-
But I'm just saying,
it's a yeah, I guess spoiler alerts. It's like I said, the film's been out a few years. It got nominated for best visual effects. It did not win. Godzilla -1 did, which
I mean, yeah, -1 is a good movie.
it's
I
a
watched
good
this.
movie. I just don't know if it had better visual effects. That's some of the stuff looked like it was very impressive for the budget. That's what I'll say. But yeah, Godzilla -1. There's worse ways to spend 2 hours, 3 hours. It's a long film, ain't it?
Like 2.
At some point, I
more
thought it
than
was
2?
over. And
More than 2.
yeah, it might be 2.5 or something.
I mean, you can argue there's not really much. I would say VFX going on in Godzilla -1 because
Yeah,
the Godzilla is like the biggest. Like I would say
Yeah.
their
yeah.
uh
Oh, so yeah, I was thinking about one of the creators like 2 hours, right? Yeah, but it's like obviously from this point, I guess I forget to do spoiler warnings because that's just habit. But yeah, if you, I guess if we're gonna move on from this point, what would you like? Would it do? Rate like an A plus or out of 5 or how much would you give it?
okay, let's just say if I rate this movie in like Rotten Tomatoes like term.
Yeah.
Okay.
Percentages? Yeah.
Percentages.
It's like a
It's hard to say, man.
yeah.
There's some definitely
break
things
it
I like
down.
about it, and there definitely
Yeah.
thing I like questioning, like why.
It's 100 for visual effects.
I would say yeah, visual effect for specifically because they using a FX3,
Yes.
with all those like. Because I guess Sony doesn't have like raw footage, right? They don't support.
It
really.
was pretty close because they were using an external recorder,
Okay.
so it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. don't
VFX is good.
Yeah.
I love their all the scene because they film in real life
Yeah.
environment. For the plot, I mean, I would say, let's just combine plot
Yes.
and dialogue because I really don't like some of the dialogue they do roll in
Yeah.
movie. It's very confusing. It's like I don't understand why they roll
Yeah.
this dialogue.
Yeah.
So combine plot and dialogue.
Yeah.
I'll say 5. Like I'm not hating movies, but because
Yeah.
everything else was great.
Yeah. I think that.
But those kind of thing makes it like more like okay, not great. I mean it's very,
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
big turn off.
Yeah. If I was to give it an overall, if I was just on technicals, like sound design, I don't know if I liked
Sound design, I would give it 7.
Sound design was fine. It was nothing stand out. There's not a lot of films.
It does the job, but
It just,
not
some of
really.
the music choices were interesting. There's one part just playing Radiohead for
I mean,
a bit.
they got Hans Zimmer on the
Yes.
the soundtrack, which
Yeah.
yeah.
Nothing stood out. Like the F1 soundtrack or the Dune 2 soundtrack are really good. But
you're right.
there's
I
a lot
agree.
of there's a lot of what's it called needle drop music in there, which is like pre-existing music.
Yeah.
So the scene where they're playing Radiohead for some reason. There's scenes where they're playing a lot of like, I would say it's probably not Asian. No, it's not probably not Japanese, but some sort of like Asian children's television music and different game shows and all that stuff
Yeah.
like that. I don't like I said I didn't know what language it was supposed to be. If it was Nepalese or whatever, but the technical stuff it would be like hovering around 80, 90. But if you add the actual like world building story characters, it kind of brings it down like everything together like 60. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 50, 60, where it's like it's a very charismatic film in terms of the production, like the action scenes are even shot relatively competently too.
Mm-hmm.
They're nothing like they're not standout like but the guns, the way they shoot, um, the sound effects and all stuff. They're really cool. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, though some of them look like Nerf guns. I don't- you know, it was
Yeah.
like swords and we're like that's a Nerf looking AK. Yeah. I don't know why the military would make a gun that will look like an AK for the United States military. This is a weird weird thing.
I mean, maybe it's just what they have
Yeah.
in those country,
Yeah.
with the prop. I mean,
Oh, no.
they
So it makes sense for AKs to be overseas, but for us here to have a gun that looks like an AK instead of an MP4 or something
Okay.
like that, or MP4 is a file. Yeah, I think there's an MP4, but you know what I'm saying, like
Okay.
an M16 or something like that. But yeah. So your mileage may vary. I think is probably the best way to say it. Like some people like it, some people won't. I don't think anyone's gonna hate this movie.
Yeah,
No, I don't think
mean,
anyone-
no,
no,
no. I mean,
no.
I guess I'm just very picky on like how the dialogue would build the
Yeah.
character development and
Yeah.
the words. So maybe I'm just picky on
Yeah.
those kind of thing.
Yeah.
But technically, I mean, the movie is like look great. The cinematography
Yeah.
are very good.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
and a spoiler-free section here before we keep moving on. With the dialogue, so I guess now that we got that out of the way,
Yeah.
was there any stuff that really stuck out to you, like in terms of that, or like I almost wish I had a transcript in front of me, but
No,
actually I
you're
might
good.
be able to do that. I know that scene where he's with in Ground Zero, and he's with the woman, and they're cleaning up the vehicles and stuff, and she starts freaking out.
I
She-
mean,
is she-
yeah, that also a funny scene because
Yes.
it was like it looked like people in
Yeah.
in LA or in the West in
Yes.
general already like used to it. Like people shouldn't be freaking out when they see a robot. Like it's not like
Well, she's like 30, maybe. I
but
don't know.
at the same time, it's not like scary. Like
It was like 15 years
the-
ago. Yeah. I guess the thing that she freaked out about is because he shot the robot and it kind of like died.
Mhm.
So it was kind of like it's a weird experience because obviously seeing someone die in real life is traumatic, but because it's not even like it's not even doesn't even have a face.
yeah,
So it'd be weird if it like had some kind of like weird decomposing rubber face or something like that, or but the dialogue is what got me because it's exactly what the scene needs to be. Like, oh my goodness, it's like a real person. And it's like there's no subtext. Not that it needs subtext, but it's like it's very exactly what the point of the scene is, which is fine if it works. But it's also like when I say the point of the scene is like the director's trying to get across the point. It's these robots are very much like people.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what the dialogue is. These robots
I
are very much like people.
understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, the point you said,
Yeah.
because that point
Yeah,
get repeated later in
Yes.
the movie because they say,
Well-
it should have turned up. Like
Yes.
when they kill a robot
Yeah,
on
like a
AI, they say it should have turned up. They
Yeah.
didn't make a big deal about it, but I guess that the scene in LA
Yeah.
when they cleaned the robot was more like making a point of like, are we killing a robot? Or we just turn it off a robot?
Yeah,
And because later they make more like repetition of those kind of questions.
because they got brain scans or a thing in the Ghost in the Shell is kind of hard to recommend for some. It's kind of odd, just with some of the whatever. But the whole point is if you can transport a being into a computer, like what the heck is even a person at that point? And so it's like that's an interesting discussion you can have because they do actually put real flesh and blood beings into a brain scan and put them into a robot. And so that's actually kind of really weird because like I said in Ghost in the Shell, they actually realize they have like false memories, which is also a thing in Blade Runner, and people's brains. They're also cyborgs too, which is a little bit more nuanced. And that's the thing with a lot of stuff. It's like if you have people just saying it's just programming, but then from a materialist perspective, as in you're only thinking about the material world, how's that really any different from a person? And they don't really.
Yeah, I mean
They talk about heaven
they,
once.
they never really like elaborated on
Yeah.
that. So it we get, I guess
Yeah.
they try to make a pretty complicated world where the blending of ethics,
Yeah.
AI, and human, kind of blending together, and we can I can see like the same old
Yeah.
like like cheesy like the West like trying to
Yeah.
dominant like small country.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can I can see a metaphor in there.
Give him an
But
excuse.
yeah,
There's oil. The AIs have
yeah,
oil.
with the West, we're stronger. We have this army. We're gonna destroy all
Yeah.
the like small countries,
They were
small
just
helpless
they were,
people.
they were just shooting civilians.
Yeah, I
man.
mean, I get that, but I'm from Vietnam, to be honest. So
Yeah.
that's to say, I have this new Asia perspective.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, the for me, the plot just not convincing enough to make like to evoke that kind of like emotion in there. I just feel like sometimes super confusing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like basically he gets pulled in, and they're all like, "Well, we, th- we need you to help us figure out the layout of a lab," which is the whole reason why they bring him on that first mission.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is clearly not someone that should be in the military anymore. Like because there's that scene where we don't want you to go native, and he goes native, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's all freaking out. It's pretty easy that anyone that worked with him would have.
Yeah.
Because the psychiatric stuff and all that,
Yeah.
they should have known that he referred to his woman as his wife, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The compartmentalization. I don't know why they have him marry her too. That's an interesting thing, but he is even if he hasn't gone over to the other side as an AI, he's still very compromised in terms of his loyalties and all that stuff. But anyways, they don't want him to draw a map. They want him to go on the mission.
Okay.
You know what
All
I'm
right.
saying?
That it's sort of like sometimes I was like,
He's also kind of technically disabled too.
it's like a joke because okay, so you remember when
Yeah.
I don't know how far we could go with this creator
Yeah.
conversations because we
Yeah.
talk more about the story itself, not
Yeah.
not the technical filming
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
process. But man, so we got all this high level official from U.S. military
Yeah.
try to convince him,
Yes.
like, you should go back,
Yeah.
And he was like, I only want to see my wife.
That's
And he said it out loud too. It's not like he hiding his intention when he
No
go
subtext.
to the missions.
yeah.
Like he go to the field. He asking all these people, where can I find Maya,
Yeah.
his wife, and all this like soldier know that too, and was like,
Oh yeah, because they knew the real thing. Yeah.
yeah. So they
Yeah,
were like,
yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, because like I said, obviously we don't need to do scene by scene, but he does go over there. It's this huge firefight. There's all these war crimes. The guns are really cool. And then there's this whole thing with the helicopter. It's kind of like some kind of weird mix of like Halo and
Yeah.
Live Die Repeat. If you've, I don't know, it's all that kind of your modern military stuff, and then not modern military, futuristic military stuff. My brain glitched there, and so they basically have all these complications. Once they get on site, there's a village on top of the lab, all that stuff. So eventually, most of the team ends up dying, and he gets into this room. This giant door opens up, and then it's just like a kid watching an anime. Yeah, which is I'm kind of laughing. It's not that funny. It's like you said, there's some kind of like mystery you could have there, like the weapon's a child.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to do like a man on fire kind of thing which is also Denzel Washington, his dad, I'll say, where you have this old veteran that kind of finds a new purpose again, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's the AI, not the AIs, Nirmada, on behalf of the AIs, built a super weapon with the intelligence of like an 8-year-old or something. And I say intelligence, I mean more. It's as intelligent as an 8-year-old, but it's super naive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like doesn't care when people get shot. Naive. Yeah. I don't even know if that's naive or what would that the term be, but like it also does a thing too where she just the little girl doesn't speak English.
But
Uh,
then later she learned it.
yeah,
Somehow she
I
learned
think
it.
using the translator is what they're trying to do because she speaks like perfect English after
Hmm.
this point. Yeah, which is the translator was cool. Also, think it was funny how big of a device it was. This
Hmm.
translator.
I mean, it's bigger than our phone. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a.
It's like when they do is it Skyfall versus Doctor No where it's a similar looking tracker, but the original one's like this and the new one's like that. And it's like what's the it must be satellite. I don't it doesn't make any sense. It's all real cool as they say. It's like if it
Hmm.
looks cool, it's cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff that happens after this point, but it's like it turns into kind of a road trip movie a little bit where he's gotta go here and then oh no this guy's dying then we gotta get him over there.
I mean,
Yeah,
there because we on that road trip.
yeah,
Remember when he went to like the big city, the metropolis,
yes,
to see his buddies?
yeah, yeah.
So
He's a recruiter. Yeah.
we learned that guy was initially the one who with him when
Yes.
he first started his undercover missions
Yes.
to know the supposed to be Namada daughters.
Yes.
And I kind of like, man, I mean, I understand that's like the common plot where, you know, a guy was running, you know, from the Goldman,
Yes.
met an old friend, and the old friend just died out of convenience.
We also looked like he had like a sweatshop or something. It was really weird.
Yeah, he's got like a sweatshop doing some like robot
which
like
would-
basically he fixed or he sold those
Which
robots
would be
basically.
illegal, wouldn't it? You would think they had their
Um,
eyes open and everything.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you know, let's skip those parts because, I mean, you know, if
I
you
don't know what was going on with that.
it's hard to explain this movie if you haven't watched it
Yeah.
yet. So you
Yeah,
know,
maybe
we would you know recommend you try to see it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
free, it's still on Amazon Prime. I just
For like the next
watched it
2 days for some
a few
dang
weeks ago.
reason.
But I want to shout out one thing with that, you know, sequence because you remember the AI girlfriend
Yes.
of the protagonist.
Yeah.
She well-known Vietnamese actress.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's a couple scene they actually let her speak Vietnamese. So their
Oh,
little
really?
Vietnamese dialogue in that movie, and that's probably like my favorite dialogue in those movies because
Yeah.
I really don't like how they construct those dialogue. To be honest,
So, what'd you say?
remember when she was
Yeah.
ordering ice cream and pizza?
Yes.
So that's where the Vietnamese
Okay.
was spoken.
So did they say what city it was, or?
No,
But she just was programmed to be Vietnamese for some reason, or
nah, I don't know
brain
what.
scan.
I,
Or? Yeah.
I don't know, but you know,
Yeah.
cause I you know I guess they
Yeah.
want to bring some like cultural
Yeah.
diversity, cause you know they
Yeah.
you know they basically
'Cause,
using these you know
the main-
Southeast Asian countries at a new Asia, so they want to bring you know cultural
Yeah.
perspective in there.
Because they had like a Ken Watanabe. I felt like he was a couple. There was an Indian guy. One of the
You know,
robots that was with
Like
him.
Thailand, you know, those people, you know, look very much like
Yeah.
Thailand, Filipinos,
Yeah.
Indonesian, Malaysian, Vietnamese. But the AI
There was one
girlfriend was Vietnamese,
Yeah,
and
there was one-
she's speaking Vietnamese.
There was one
Pretty
guy.
cool.
One of the robots that didn't have a face had like a British accent. Could have been Hong Kong maybe, but or could
I wouldn't say like, yeah, this is actually filmed in Hong Kong. I
I don't think they would because
I
there was
don't
about
remember.
upheaval around that time probably. Yeah.
I mean, they're like a city, you know, scene where you know we see
Yeah.
those like flying car, you know, very much like you know, kind of like the feeling of Blade Runner 2049 or RoboCop.
Yeah. For the budget, it looked really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess I look at those scene. I guess it was based on Bangkok, Thailand, for most part.
Interesting.
It's not like that developed. They're just adding the layer on because you see it's not like crowded with skyscraper. There's
No.
skyscraper, but there's not a lot. So I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
more based on like my guess would be
Is-
Bangkok.
Like
it's
a city that futuristic city planning.
yeah, like a big city, but not like what the West big cities. So I
Yes.
get that's their, the reason why they
Yeah,
chose that
it's
approach.
it's almost like the background details and stuff tell a more interesting story.
Yeah,
than,
interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting knots here and there, but it's not really like,
yeah. So
adding anything to the plot.
so basically, he goes finds his old buddy, the guy he used to know, and he's all like, "Man, this kid's the most crazy robot. It's basically like it can hack anything, man." I think he actually says that. I think he does. It's like, but it's. I don't recommend hackers, but it's always like the whole like it can hack the planet. It's like, can hack the kid.
I
hack
mean,
the
okay,
Gibson.
so okay, but because you mentioned that, so it's quite funny too. Because
Yeah.
when I all the build up we seen at that point, I thought the kid gonna be able to control Nomad basically by her brain.
Yes.
Just like AI, like to be get into
Yeah.
this security system and try to control by her own
a computer.
like peaceful intention. Shut
Yes.
it down.
Yes.
But at the end, it was quite funny when we all learned. Okay, spoiler alert. You're not gonna like the ending if you watch like all this building up until that point, because
Yes.
your expectation would be so different from the final, but finally battle. I don't know. Should I spoil it? Because it was quite funny.
What we'll do is I'll probably try to speed along, and then we can get to like
Yeah.
the Nepal sequence and then to the space sequence. So, anyways, this kid's the coolest robot ever, and then the military lady who had her sons killed by robots has been following him this whole time, and then they get attacked by the police, and then they go from the police, and then he's like, I gotta go back to my old house for some dang reason because he's trying to follow the wedding ring. And then Ken Watanabe's character is like, hey, brother. And then they capture and they take him to Nepal. So they go from Thailand to Nepal. I don't know how far away that is. Movies these days don't care about geography.
I mean,
Yeah.
just let's just say it's a hypothetic,
Hypothetical,
new
yeah.
Asia, so it's not like based on
Yeah.
real life geography.
Maybe they're all just right next to each other.
Yeah, might be they just like drive up the mountain like from literally like ground to 8,000.
Yeah.
No, not 8,000 meters altitude. My bad. I
Yeah.
cannot convert to feet. Like
I-
33,000 feet. From ground
You better most
beaches.
Americans.
Like from ground beaches,
yeah.
to high up Nepal.
Yeah.
In like I don't know how many days.
Yeah,
That's
so
what they did.
he's all, and the dude's all like, Ken Watanabe is the bald one. He's all like, yeah, man, you people are the worst. And hey, you know what would happen if AIs would take over? Nothing. It's that whole scene where he's all like, we just want to sit around and sing Kumbaya and be happy, and you Americans had to go and mess everything up. And then he pulls out, he's all like, yeah, we're just a peace-loving people, and then puts the silencer on his pistol and gets ready to shoot him. And then they get attacked randomly, and that stops him from killing him. And then the kid comes downstairs, and then he and the kid end up escaping. And then, of course, the military shows up in force. Because, like I said, the whole time the Americans have just been going around doing kind of evil stuff, and yeah.
It's pretty illegal to, because we can
Shooting
think of that
civilians.
like based on
Yeah.
real life events lately. It like
Well, the thing too is like if this is the future, there would be cameras everywhere.
yeah.
So it's not like you could, if you're shooting a bunch of like unarmed civilians in front of robots. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna end
It's
up on the
literally
internet.
war crime.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like I'm not I'm not supporting war crime. But
No.
if you seen the movie, you understand. Like
It goes off its way.
it goes like
Well,
I don't know.
even when that helicopter crashes, they make sure to see the people are under where the helicopter is gonna crash. Like there's very few explosions where you can go cool explosion because they always show there's people there. And to be fair, that's what happens in real life. But it's not like you can turn your brain off and go rah rah. There's some cool action. It's very like modern military. This is a serious thing that's happening. Even though we got a bunch of like, it's probably closer to an anime than is like Black Hawk Down or some kind of real thing. But yeah, so they show up with a giant sci-fi tank in this small village. Is that in the Nepal sequence?
I think that more Thailand.
No, that's right before that. Yeah.
it was like still beaches, rivers, and
Yeah, so the guy manages to get the kid back, and there's this whole sequence where they got these tanks and they're just blowing stuff up.
hold on.
Yeah, it's with the bombs, the smart bombs.
Oh,
Yeah. So they have a scene where like we're in the United States, we freaking hate AI, but also here's our bombs with AI that we have to yell at him to get out of the tank for some reason. And then the kid uses
Oh, man.
the powers. The kid had used powers before then, but it's
yeah,
the first.
kinetic power basically.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what it is, like an EMP field mixed with a bit of able to hack things.
Yeah, I would agree. More like EMP, or
not sure
it's just
why-
like probably like
They-
redirect
They
the
show
signals.
they show that she was built as an embryo, so the implication is that she'll grow for her own lifetime.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't know how it's gonna work.
That's magic, man. That
Yes,
is just
that's pretty magic. Okay, so the context here is we talk about the kid. Like I refer to the kid as, so she's like artificial, intelligent creations,
Yeah.
like a robot. Like an 8 years
Yeah.
8 years old robot. But because the movie was saying she was created
Yeah.
by an employee, right?
Well, see, the thing is, like in Blade Runner, it's weird because they have the short lifespans, but they're test tube people. They're basically all their organs are grown and then they're put together, which is actually where the word robot. That's a whole tangent, but so you don't have to have that kind of conversation. Like, oh, they're just grown in a lab, so they're like artificially organic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you get like, oh yeah, the actuators, she's got like a
Yeah.
spinning. She's got like a hard.
I mean
disk
that.
at the
I mean,
back.
if we compare it to Blade Runner, it's more like grow adult body.
Yes.
But we it's a robot deep down. But this case is different because they makes the viewer believe she gonna grow at a normal human beings.
Which
But
is interesting.
which I don't know how it's gonna work because
No.
she basically have like all the robotic parts and
I guess maybe it's kind of like how you could like Japanese magazines where you could order a kit and it'll come to you in parts. Maybe it's like every so many years she's like, all right, the next upgrade. So she pulls an actuator out and she puts a new one in.
I mean, that's also the idea that there's a lot of movie,
Yeah.
use when they say if you want to grow like a robot, you can upgrade once a
It's
year.
incremental, yeah.
Yeah, incrementally. But I don't think that's the case. They
Yeah.
implement in this movie is more like she just naturally grown like a human being.
He's all like, yeah, because his friend, when he's looking at they get this weird spinny thing that I have no clue why it's there on the back.
It's look cool, to be honest. It look cool.
It looks cool, but they're all like, it should be solid state. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you buy like a new MacBook and it's got like this weird like laser disc thing going on. It's yeah.
I was like, if they are that advanced in terms of like robotic technology,
Yeah.
why can't you just cover that part like a normal head?
This is a tangent, but I had this thought: the brain scans are crazy because the thing about this, and I don't know how much a computer guy you are, the idea that you could use AI to build something that could simulate a human being, that could run on a robot, it would be a very powerful computer, but that could be a thing. But the idea that you can scan a brain and just upload it to a robot, that is a ton of data. Like a ton of data. And that's actually really complicated. You might even have to build custom software for each brain scan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that's magic. The whole sequence where she like scans a dead soldier's brain, the military lady, colonel something, to get some pretty trivial information. She like clones a brain to a robot, and he's alive for like 30 seconds before it
Yeah,
shuts off.
they basically you can think of like they treat the brain like a SSD.
Yes.
So you can pretty much just pull out like the last like 5 minutes before they die
Yes.
as a memory and put it back to some kind of like
Yeah.
AI body, so you can they leave another like 15 seconds,
Yeah.
and it it's
They-
magical because I mean we don't have that technology
They
right
would
now.
they imply it would work longer if he hadn't been dead for several hours. Yeah.
But still, it's I
So
don't
I
have
don't
the
know if
I
all
don't
the
have the
robots.
biology to back this
No,
up.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's not a scientific impossibility. It's be very difficult to pull off now
Yeah.
without quantum computing and all that stuff. But it does make a question like, so the bomb isn't a brain scan. You wouldn't do that, would you? That feels kind of weird. Or like if they got a robotic toaster, that wouldn't be a you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then you got the robots are just like the police officers that got the weird kind of face, or the soldier bots. They seem to be just as much AI as the ones with faces.
Hmm.
And I've heard someone say that, like, you know what uncanny valley is? The idea that the more something gets closer to being human.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Japanese philosopher or engineer.
Philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So someone was saying like non-human. So if you showed up, it was humanoid, right? But it was just like
Hmm.
like a block or something.
Yeah.
It'd be easier to accept than something that's kind of like I am.
Yeah.
You're kind of walking around and being a little bit kind of like whatever, kind of like a Jim Carrey on a bad day or something like that. But that's a whole thing. So yeah, the whole brain scan thing. But yeah, so these bombs, they basically go beep 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 and go get out of here, and then they gotta like yell at it 2 or 3 times, and
I mean, yeah, it's quite fun. It's like okay, so we are that advanced. Like let's just talk about this. Like if you live in this world perspective,
yes,
they build Nomad,
yes,
like very advanced, like military equipment device.
yeah,
And
$1
they,
trillion.
they got that think of that like a garbage can robot.
Yeah,
They look like a garbage, like big garbage can, and have leg to walk, and basically you just release it to run like a dog, like boop, 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 and then it runs straight. It's like if you play games and you have that like big tanker, they just run to the enemy's like territory and just
League of
boom.
Legends or something.
And there's nothing can stop it. Like this guy fire like machine gun could not stop the thing, and just like run to the middle of your enemy core and just
yeah, it runs past
explode.
them. Yeah.
I'm like,
It's funny too because it's like the part where they're kind of yelling at it to get going. There's a film called Dark Star by it's the first John Carpenter film, which was written by the guy that wrote the script for Aliens. It's all right. It's a student film they had like another 60 minutes to it or something like that. They have bombs where they have to argue with them when they should go off, and they have this whole philosophical discussion with them. It's you would never want to put that much AI in a bomb for that reason. You have to convince like the bomb wants to go off, and you just explain to the bomb, don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the idea that that you could have that they could just press a button and the thing would go. Also, tank treads would have less issues. Whatever.
Yeah.
But rocket propellant, whatever. But it's kind of funny where it feels like in a less serious like anime or cartoon or a film with a different tone, it makes something a little bit more like satirical.
yeah,
You could have like, hey, it's been a pleasure serving with you. I'm your best buddy pal that's a bomb. Whatever.
Yeah.
You could have like maybe the rifles talk and the tanks talk like, hey, you
Yeah,
want to go and what I'm saying?
I get it. Yes,
Yeah.
for the tone, for the tone of the movie,
It doesn't it doesn't break anything.
it's quite funny where
Yeah.
because everyone was serious. Like
Yeah.
they want to really destroy the other side, and you got this stupid bomb, just like
It
all
could
right.
it could
Yes,
work.
yes, sir, and just run there.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't really add anything on.
Yeah.
It doesn't ruin a lot, but it's just like very off-putting in that kind of like setting.
Well, if like everything's brain scans, it'd be like they get into a taxi. It's like, how are you doing? And it's like the taxi thing, but the car's just talking, or like maybe it's just people just realize like, yeah, I donated my brain's a brain scan. Didn't realize it was just gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? It's
I
like-
mean, you can think of that robot like we are using them now for like very very dangerous mission,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
cleaning
Like
nuclear,
firefighters.
nuclear
yeah.
waste.
Yeah,
Think of that like that. But I mean,
those are just remote
the
control.
robot we using
Yeah.
right now in
Yes.
our like nowadays technology looks still more advanced than the bomb we see in the movie.
Yeah,
Just
they
the-
got tank treads, like an arm, and they can pick up, or if it's like bomb diffuser robots or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
yeah.
it's not practical. Like, there's not a lot of good reasons to give any machine legs for any reason, unless you want it to be like a butler or something like
Yeah.
that, or go upstairs or something. But it is kind of funny though, where it's like they have this giant tank that can just shoot missiles. And they're like, "Quick, send the legged bombs in." It looks like a Mario thing.
I guess I, I might be wrong, but I guess they trying to refer to these like let's say war against these Asian country where they use the tic tac like tactics where they hide in a forest.
Yeah.
Like you don't know where is that.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly location of those
Yeah,
forces.
home field advantage.
So home field advantage. So
Yeah.
you have the robots just run around, run straight to the core and just explore where I
Yeah.
get it, but it's not really applied to like the setting of
village, yeah.
of the movies where it's not really
Yeah.
necessary.
So the first one goes off, kills a bunch of people and robots. It's hard to tell. Although they showed a robot smoking before the military showed up. It was really weird. Another robot gambling. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
they AI,
Well, it just-
whoa.
It's just like, yeah, this is you look over just a robot with a
Yeah.
vape going, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, doing good.
It looked like robots just like some in the movies they painted those AI robot like a low life human being where they got
Well, what?
like low life
Or like criminals?
like refugee like
Yeah.
they just like lay low in the slum like neighborhood.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Low life can mean criminal, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah,
But they also got advanced like police robots from
Yes.
the government, which I don't really know like.
Well,
Like,
imagine
what's the
imagine that. They're like, yeah, we're fine with your robots being here, but why do you want to be our police? It's like,
yes, it's the like we have this long conversation to this point. The word building in this movie is sometimes very confusing to
very
to
confusing.
really.
It could be interesting. Like, there's a lot of directions you could go, and there's a lot of stuff they almost take for granted because you think a lot about the good stuff. You don't think about like, I don't know what, like even a movie like I, Robot with shoot, what's that guy's name? Fresh Prince.
Will Smith.
Will Smith, yeah.
Yep.
It has issues, but it doesn't have these kind of issues.
Okay, I
It's not good. It's not a great movie.
the thing with iRobot is like it's only himself, the protagonist, Will Smith, with the robot.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't interact with any like
Other
many human beings. It's not like he was like fighting this robot in like like
No, the whole-
population.
I think the whole
cities.
point is that the robot broke a rule, and then he's investigating what happened with that. It's been a couple months since I've seen the film, but it's it's just a Hollywood movie where this one is kind of they take it's Isaac Asimov that wrote the novel, so you get the rules of robotics and how could a robot kill somebody that's against the rules, and they have that whole scene where he's in the room where he's got to figure out which one is which. And he's trying to figure out which one's got the broken chip or something. It's been a little bit. Oh, we're getting up to 25 minutes here, but yeah. So anyways, that whole sequence happens. The kid uses their weird telepathic abilities. Alfie, I think is what they call her, and shuts the second robot down. Then she gets shot.
by the guy.
Yeah, I don't know what happens to the. So the guy shoots, then immediately the robot just boots back up after that, which is interesting. They do that another time too, where the second shoe loses attention, the electronic just turns back on.
Yeah.
And then of course he has to shoot that. Then David Washington's character shoots him to save the robot, and the other robot's like, "Well, I guess he's on our side now," And then they take him to Nepal, and then I guess they fixed the kid or something. I don't know what they did.
They never really went into
Maybe it was
that
the shot
detail.
just grazed the robot and it got. It's like that one scene where they're in the police car, the two bad guys, and they strangle a robot. It's kind of like maybe that makes some kind of sense, but I don't know. Like if you hit a robot on the head with a bat, it's not gonna get a concussion. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
no. Maybe it's like for the programming to work, they have to sustain normal injuries.
And remember, in that sequence, so
Yeah.
at night when the protagonist trying to, I wouldn't say save, but like take the kid
Yes.
out of the guardian of those robot guardians.
Yes.
He just turned off. That literally a switch.
Oh
To-
yeah.
Remember when then all the robots fall asleep and they need a charge.
Yes.
So they actually have that detail too. So this robot need to be charged.
Yes.
Like they when they go to sleep, and we can all see that literally a switch. He just turned off the robot.
Right past their weird spinning thing on the back of their head. It doesn't kill them. It just he wakes up and like, ah! He's all freaking out like like someone drugged him or something. That's a really. I think robots should have switches, but it's kind of like.
I would say it's like
It's kinda odd.
like a bizarre like
It's-
detail because I know they trying to do very
It feels
know-
like you're. Sorry, yeah. It feels
Sorry,
like
sorry.
they wrote themselves into a corner, and then that was the easiest way to get out of it, maybe.
I mean they have so many little detail, but I don't think it would necessary for the story. It's just like
No.
it make the story more confusing.
Yeah.
Like people were questioning more about like this robot thing. Like
It's kinda
what
like a-
exactly.
It's kind of like a police robot having a switch right on the back. So if you just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how that should work. Like, you want to have an override if something goes wrong, but you also don't want, if it's supposed to be for like crowd control or law enforcement or something, the ability to shut it off that everybody knows about. You know,
Yeah.
it's like all these models that are very popular have this known exploit. Like if you take your phone and put an airplane mode, some stupid thing like that. Yeah. But so from that point, they decided it's cool to take him to Nepal. There's a bunch of monks there. Some of the monks are people, some monks are robots.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I guess they're like, yeah, I mean, I'm a robot. I don't know how that works with spirituality, but
Yeah.
whatever. And then they meet the Nirmata. He learns that Nirmata is his wife. The bomb was I was thinking the bomb was going to be an inside job. It didn't end up being. It just was a mistake that that the robots didn't do. Everything's a lie. All the stuff you're fine for, yada yada. And then Nirmata's just his wife Maya is just on a table for 5 years. She looks exactly the same as the day she got blown up, but not blown up. In the sense that like she doesn't
Yeah.
have burns or anything.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't try to transfer her conscious to a robot for any reasons.
I mean,
It does happen later. Maybe that's not ethical. I don't know.
Okay.
It's because the military lady shows up
Yeah.
after he turns the life support off, and basically holds him and the kid at gunpoint until she takes a floppy disk and puts the brain on there. Not an actual flop, like a little flash, like
Yeah.
CFast card,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And then she gets blown up. It's that weird bomb it's the second or third time in the film they do that, where it's a bomb that takes a few minutes to go off, and then it's same thing happens on the helicopter where the whole thing blows
Yeah.
up because the girl had a weird smart bomb on her back. And then so she dies even though the kid tries to save her, which is kind of interesting. But they use an EMP on the kid or something weird like that. And so then the Americans show up again and start blowing everything up again. And then he runs out and the Americans are like, "Hello, Sergeant. Good thing you accomplished your mission. How about you go back with us to the United States?"
It's like they're trying to replicate like this plot where even the secret agent doesn't know he's get like
What in terms of like
in terms of like of these like spy movies, like
Yeah.
sometimes the spy doesn't know he got like I guess he got because sometimes he was basically go against his mission,
yes.
but then when he got captured, people
Yes.
would say like, "Oh, you're doing your job."
Oh.
Those spy movies where like he changed the side, but then later when he
Yeah.
got caught,
I think the thing though, like double and triple agents, is that he's always a single agent the whole time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah. As in the fact that like he's on his own side. He's never on
Yeah, he
anybody's
on his own side.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a
But I mean, I guess like whatever he do, if it benefit
yes.
his his
He's incredibly
his spy like
yeah.
organization, that organization still take him
Yeah.
as like a hero. So,
Another
guess.
another film could have played with that the whole time, where it was never clear what his actual goals were, and maybe at the end of the film he does switch the sides or something like that. But it was always very clear from the beginning of the film that's like he wasn't
Yeah.
completely sold on
Yeah.
everything. Because
I mean,
yeah,
the rational.
yeah,
I guess if I was like I'm not
Yeah.
I'm gonna just hypothetically, the rationale for them
yeah,
when they caught him was like just put him in like out like these facilities, like he should be clear, he shouldn't be like close to this mission anymore.
Yeah.
But turn out he got chance to talk and to see the kid, which they know,
yeah.
they should have known, but
Oh,
they
that he
just
was
let that happen.
They use a turncoat basically, or
Yeah, I mean because at that point they learned that he probably like already like compromised. Like
Yeah.
he shouldn't be close to the mission anymore. He shouldn't be close to the kid anymore.
yeah, because the problem is like if the army lady had been on her own the whole time and never, she does say something to the effect that he could walk away if he walked away or something, but she should have reported back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Right?
he wasn't checking in. So if he wasn't checking in, then even if he did end up doing something good, he still would have gotten in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
doing something that benefits the Americans. So
I mean, either way, he already like compromised at
Yeah.
that point. Like he shouldn't be, I don't know, because my question also was why this like high official ladies, like she was pretty much like a general at that point.
yeah, she was a
Like-
colonel. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like, why she involved like to the field herself and just get killed? Like it,
Yeah, she should. So she, yeah,
she
'cause-
shouldn't. She should be somewhere in like the headquarters, just like pointing,
Yeah, 'cause she,
orders.
yeah, she's like way past military retirement age too. So like, if she's gonna be in the military, she would have been, you know.
Yeah,
Hey, she still could be in a field, but it was really where there was a certain point
it's
where.
still weird. Like she go on herself. It's just like she shouldn't be.
Yeah, she was a colonel. Yeah.
Yeah, giving herself in
I
that
guess-
dangerous missions.
Yeah, I guess I don't know enough about every branch, but I guess like if like Stargate, that she's about the same age as the guy in Stargate, and you would go on the missions, but also it was kind of weird because like that guy was like second in command. You know, it's the
Yeah.
same issue where you're like, well, you're like one of the most valuable people
Yeah,
here.
she like the
Yeah.
most valuable in that kind of like
Yeah.
force, like the anti like
Yeah.
AI,
And then
force.
in Stargate, they forced him to become a general at some point. So once he started hitting around his like 60s or something like that, he wasn't allowed to go in the field anymore because he was like, he'd been part of the program for like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because you
mean, yeah,
you would have captains and majors and all that stuff to actually
I mean,
run
we'll
the missions.
we'll probably not try
Yeah.
to
yeah.
make the plot more reasonable.
no.
As said,
Yeah, it's a future. Maybe in the future.
yeah, maybe something hypothetically
Field-
saying that's
field
how they
commanders.
do it in the
Yeah.
future, I guess. But
Yeah, because like at least the general guy was on the mission, it's like that. But whoever Ralph's character, but the guy with the cool voice. But yeah, so they want him to like he gets captured or not captured. They think he's still part of the team or something. They take him back somewhere. They're like, we can't kill the kid for some stupid reason, and she won't let us for some stupid reason. So take this EMP in there, and that will work for reasons.
Yeah.
And he gets in there and he, I don't know what he does. Does he turn the EMP down? We're back. Okay, we had to just pause for a second here. Actually, gotta reset my timer. So yeah, we were at the kid getting EMP'd somehow. He asked the kid to trick them into thinking it's dead, and then they're gonna go cremate the robot or something like that.
yeah, that's funny.
And then they crash the car. Then they get their way to an airport. Then there's a weird robot at the airport, which I'm guessing is an AI, but it's a robot.
Yeah.
And then they get on an airplane, and then they go up to the space station.
So before that, I gonna add a detail. So the kid, she had the ticket system.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they got their own ticket. and they
Yeah.
somehow they bypassed the security check, which kind of like I don't know if that would fly in like real life airport. Like you pretty
Well,
much it.
it's the way she hacks is really weird. It's like presented almost like telepathy, but if it's just hacking, it makes sense why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she's all go like you could like you know like doing like the like Professor X kind of hand things, but then it's like but then it works just like the same thing. You should like pull out a computer and just, you know it's
Yeah.
like it's very I don't know real cool I guess. But yeah, they get up there and it's all like she reroutes a spacecraft to land. Although all those people died. No, they got no. Those people didn't die. They got into escape vehicles. But they go to that, and it's a giant missile installation on Nomad. They go there. Then he basically says, "Go turn the power off," and then he goes and fights a bunch of people, and then he just opens up a door. They let him do it. It's kind of funny because he's all like open the door, and they're like, "Oh no, he's going to open the door!" And they got guns trained on him. He's like,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Ah!" And then a few of them die, a few of them don't. And then what's he trying to do? He's trying to put a bomb on a missile. I think that's what he's doing after
Yeah.
that. Yeah, he climbs
was.
out, goes on a spacewalk, which feels like I think there's probably an easier way of doing that. This whole sequence where he's like climbing on missiles and this
Yeah.
thing where So the kid shuts all the power off. A few missiles do get out, but it does that thing where once she stops focusing, everything turns back on again. Because she did, I don't know, maybe don't like the trick of maybe leave things off afterwards or whatever. So a few missiles still get out. So there's all this countdown. He's doing the whole whatever thing, and then she runs to a place where they have a bunch of AIs, including one that looks like Nirmata, Maya. Puts the chip, drags it to a field, puts a chip in whatever. And then they try to get to an escape pod. Then they have like one weird robot that they can still use that the kid doesn't sense when it shows up, even though it feels like they can always sense when a robot shows up. Because those things are like, oh, my friends are here, you know, or just doing the weird telepath thing. And then from that point, they fight that thing. The space station blows up. No, sorry. They fight the robot. And the whole space station's blowing up because he put a bomb on the bomb. The bomb blew up the bomb, which is how bombs work. And then, oh no, we beat the robot, but the door won't open up. And so he basically sends escape hatch out. She goes back down to Earth. People are cheering. Anna, you know what I say? Yeah.
There's it's raised two questions for me in that sequence. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't he escape himself? Like I don't see any like
Oh, take a different pod.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping him from really got in the pot. Like, he just got to fight a robot. They already did.
Well-
You know, they already beat up the robot. So he can just get on the pot with the kid. Because the pot was big. It's not like a small pot, like, you know, those alien pot.
The door was broken, so
Oh.
they could get the door open.
But
no,
I think he still have time to run to another pot, you know, to another,
Yeah.
like, escape pot. He just didn't
Yeah,
run.
he goes somewhere random and then runs into the robot that the kid set up.
Yeah.
So he could have, you know what, he might even been able to go back to the airplane even if that was still
Yeah,
working.
if he can, he want to, but
That might
I
have
guess
blown up, yeah.
I guess from that
So make it fly.
in the story,
Yeah.
because he tried like he wanted to tell the kid that he wanted to stay.
Yes.
His mission is complete. Like his life have no purpose anymore.
Yeah, but he still could have been a father figure for the robot
Sure.
kid. Yeah.
Because I my point was like I was trying to criticize his like you know sacrificing like scene, like it's not necessary. Like he can still live and have a purpose
Yes.
with a kid,
Yes.
but he just chose to be, you know,
Yeah.
gone. And also the second question is where they have like this like field with you know, the cornfield or whatever
on the-
field on the Nomad.
Yeah.
So I get they try to reference to Interstellar
Yeah.
scene, but I was like, it's just so off-putting. Like I don't see any like
Well, it's just still
reason.
it's supposed to be far into the future when that scene in Interstellar
Yeah, because
happens.
Nomad, it's not like a spaceship where you travel to like years after human, civilization.
Yeah.
It's just a military equipment with missile.
I
And I don't
imagine
know why they need the corn, like
probably for
the
air,
biological corn.
air filtration or something, probably like that. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just feel like
I don't think they would
not
need.
necessary.
I don't think it would be like that. It would probably be like like a greenhouse hydroponic kind of thing.
It just really it makes sense. If you know what a nomad, what it mission,
Yeah.
it doesn't really make sense. Like why you need the
I-
fuel in there.
I think the reason I've seen other science fiction films is it's like natural air, but it creates all sorts of other issues. You have to take care of the plants. Yeah,
You need a soil. You need like all this like
To be fair, I was surprised they were doing anything on Nomad. Like the fact that the general was up there. Nomad should have been like a janitor, you know what I'm saying? And maybe like a couple of guys to fix things, you know?
Yeah.
Like in real life, if you get those giant takers, they got very few people on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you go up there, they ship in a shopping mall at that point up there. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just, they have all this like, they do research up there. It feels like they do all their illegal stuff up on Nomad. It's like that's where they develop all their weapons and test the AI and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. So like, I really did not like the film the first time I watched it. The second time, I'm not that I like it, but it's like I kind of respect at least what he was trying to do.
You appreciate like
Yeah.
their art.
Yeah,
artistic
I'll say I
directions.
didn't bring all my notes in, and I was probably a little bit snarkier on that. Like I said, there's a lot of it's like one of criticism where it'd be like this is the greatest hits of this anime and science fiction and war films and all that stuff, where he's really good at assembling images. Also, speaking of that part of Asia, did you ever see Kong Skull Island?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like that they did a lot of that stuff where they're copying like the helicopter shots and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and
It actually was filmed also, I believe, in Vietnam.
yeah,
Like,
because
a
it's
lot of those sequences was
set
in
right
Vietnam.
after the war ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Samuel Jackson and all that stuff. And that film's not amazing, but it's more simple. There's less. Like this film is trying to do something really ambitious.
Very ambitious.
Yeah,
Very ambitious.
where that film's like, oh boy, what if we did this but that for that film? Where this one's all like, it's science fiction, it's anti-war, it's talking about like human consciousness. They even bring up religion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's like this whole thing, and then there's all sorts of like allegorical things to real life stuff. A little bit like 9/11 and like the aftermath of that with the nuclear bomb in Los Angeles kind of would be around the same. If you take if 15 years ago would have been the early 2000s, that would have been around the same time. So and then they whatever, but there's some I like something like. It kind of reminds me of like a more. Have you seen something like Chronicles of Riddick or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie, it has no pretensions of being like a good movie, but it has all these random grab bag of ideas. And of course, you end up with space wizards and all that stuff and vampires. It feels like just a bunch of stuff that Vin Diesel thought was cool. This is kind of all like, what if you did the more serious version of that, where it's like, we got a bit of like Francis Ford Coppola, we got a bit of like Blade Runner, we got a bit of like
Maybe Scott Riley, Aliens.
Aliens. Yeah. Ridley Scott. Yeah.
Ridley Scott, my
With
bad.
Aliens, yeah. Some of the interiors looked like that. The robots in Aliens actually really weird with the milk blood and all that stuff. That's kind of actually pretty well done. But there's all these kind of disparate things, and like I don't know, it's like maybe it just needs to be like more focused. Like their movies are just like a guy hanging out with a robot that are pretty good, and then he learns a life lesson or something like that. Or there's ideas like Terminator. The robots in Terminator are more complicated than the film lets on. I think there's the idea that the T-1000 has the metal one. Has a little bit of the liquid metal one can actually go against his has some like agency more than the T-800. but like the film doesn't dwell on that a lot. So like Arnold in the second film is just a robot, but it has a little bit of ability to learn. You know, I don't know. So you got all these disparate elements, and the way the film is shot is really cool. Like I would like to see, with a more cohesive script, somebody make yeah. I don't know, but what are your closing thoughts or like
I mean, we briefly talked about this, like
Yes.
how I think about this movie,
yeah
and I would say my final thought would be it's a it's a great piece of art where
yeah
like I said, the filming, the cinematography, how much they done with the production, the crew side, the equipment,
Yeah.
great. They have great actors and actresses in there.
yeah
Very ambitious, a
Yes.
lot like very like a lot of ex, like extensional ideology in there, like
existentialism.
existentialism.
Yeah.
Like how much the would be the boundary between like AI would be like a thing, like it had like it not harmful to human being.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, it could be useful and
Yeah, the strikes were going on at the
Yeah.
time, which were about AI in Hollywood. Yeah.
And a lot like this, these very like small detail. But then
Oh,
you
yeah.
know if you watch the movie as the whole from beginning to the end,
Yeah.
there are so many like it feel like you wearing this like very nice like shirt, nice
Yeah.
color, nice material, but then there like many little holes,
Yes.
which make your experience become like
Make your what?
make your experience watching it.
Oh, experience. Yes.
Experience
Yes.
watching it.
Yeah.
There's many little holes that just like you wish they
Yeah.
would make it a little bit more like
Yeah.
simpler
Yeah.
and make it more like have more like focus like direction of like how they really want to tell the audience than just like
Well, it's just the takeaways, like the thematics, like what it's trying to say, is really muddled. I think I know what the filmmaker's trying to say, but I'm not sure what. Again, I'm saying like, if I take the film and go, if I compare it to this, I can kind of figure out what he's trying to say, but it's like it's not necessarily from a reading of it as text. Where it's like, like if I read everything literally, it's kind of muddled. But if I kind of pull back a little bit and go like, well, it's a exploration of what it means to be human, or this
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. But yeah, it's one of those films you watch is baffling. And the David Washington was in Tenet. I feel Tenet's kind of similar in that regard, where it's like maybe he's just gonna be the star of a bunch of like bizarre science fiction films.
yeah
I think Tenet had some exposition problems where like it would just explain to you the plot. I feel like I could understand Tenet if Christopher Nolan pulled out all his charts and explained to me what was going on.
fair.
I don't think it would make sense, but at least they're charts, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like it's an interesting idea, but and the music was really interesting, and some of the action sequences were really innovative, and they actually crashed a plane. But it's I don't know. But you watch it and you sit down and you're like, I don't even know where I would start to make it better in the case of Tenet. And the same thing with this one. You're just kind of like, I don't know where I would start. David Washington is he's an interesting performer. He's kind of like low. He's not like Denzel Washington has that kind of magnetism to him. Same with Samuel Jackson has and Morgan Freeman have. Where the second he's on screen, any movie that has Denzel Washington in it's usually better, you know what I'm saying, than one without him. Even if it's not a good movie, it's at least like watchable. He doesn't quite have that, but he has the voice. He doesn't quite look like. Well, I don't know if he looks like him. He's got a beard in most of the films I've seen him in, but you know what I'm saying. I just don't know. It's and I'm not saying if actual Denzel Washington back in his prime had been in the film would be any better. It'd be the same script, but he's probably really good for like grounded perform. You know what I'm saying, like more realistic stuff. But yeah, I don't know. we did our thing. I still think I'd say it's like a 50-60% if I was to use the, or 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Um, which is I think kind of generous, but I think the visuals are really the story of the film is really interesting. Like
Yep.
if you think of it as the end product of a process, it's an interesting film. I don't know if some dude was just to watch it on TV on afternoon. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
just caught it with no context, if it's
Yeah.
even worth talking about. But yeah, like I said, it's like District 9. The whole point of District 9 is like he becomes an alien and starts to understand the perspective of the aliens.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. He's like part cyborg. You know what I'm saying? Like I know it's technically he's is it paraplegic? Is that the term? Like the real world term. But the fact is he's got robotic limbs and all that stuff,
Yeah.
which is really weird. So it's like, oh, he's got a complicated relationship with robots, but he has robotic arms and legs already.
Yeah.
Like, how would you be treated different in society? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's all that stuff.
Yeah. It's raising other questions with District 9.
To be fair, I don't think in real life that would ever happen, but in a
Yeah.
movie, this like metaphorical thing where, especially if he got his injuries from robots and had to become more like them or something like that. But yeah, and his whole relationship with his wife, she's like I have in here Nirmata, just plot device. Like she
Yeah.
exists.
She was pretty much like a flutter, but she didn't really
The
contribute to like the whole
yeah.
the journey, the kid
Yeah.
and the
The-
protagonist, like
The kid was a weird one too, because it's like because they want to make her like really naive and kind of unaffected by anything happening.
yep, you're right.
She doesn't really have much of a perspective, which is fine. But like I don't know, like have you seen Man on Fire?
Man on Fire.
Yeah, it's the one with Denzel. It's a Tony Scott film, so Ridley Scott's brother. So
No.
he's Denzel Washington's like an ex special forces guy. He's got like PTSD and all that stuff. So he's really struggling, but he's put in charge of driving Dakota Fanning in Mexico. She lives in Mexico to the school and back. So basically, because he's ex-military, to prevent her from being kidnapped. And so he kind of like there's like a friendship that develops between her and her mother and all that stuff, and he kind of kicks his alcoholism and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
it's been a while since I've seen the film, but her as a character, and like I said, it's a, one of the more famous child actors, but like it's hard to. The relationship between the two main characters is a very big deal, and it motivates. That first half of the movie is pretty good, and then when she disappears, it's whatever. It's not a bad film. It's just turns into him just trying to figure out who took her and all that stuff. But it's like a lot of these kind of films when they meet a kid, there's something about the kid that kind of challenges their worldview.
Yeah.
And this kid is just a kid, like in the sense that it barely talks, and then when it does talk, there's a scene where the kid talks about heaven for a little bit, and there's a whole bit like, well, you're not going to go to heaven because you're a bad person, and I'm not going to go to heaven because I'm not a person. And it's like, I don't know, like so, like the whole point of him is being redeemed, and if that's his belief, that's how you get to heaven is being a good person. I'm not sure why he would have anything changed by the end of the film. It's like, it's all like, and then she's still not a person in the classical sense of being a human being. But
Yeah.
I don't know. You get into these pitfalls where it's like it's so ambitious that you're throwing all these kind of curveballs. It's really hard to control all the variables. It's like Blade Runner. I probably shouldn't be too outspoken on this. I'm not the biggest fan of it as a film, but then now in comparison, you realize it's just pretty simple, like the actual
Yeah.
film. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically like a 1940s. Yeah, well, that's okay. That's one I'm putting contention. It's like some kind of police thing that's kind of styled a little bit like the 40s, and it's very clear his motivations, his goals, what he's trying to do, and why it doesn't. It's not super complicated. They refer to space battles, but you never see them. And so, by the time you get to the Tears in the Rain scene, you do need to read into a lot of it to understand what's happening thematically. But there's a lot there. Like I I heard on a podcast. I would have to look up to see if this is all true, but apparently he wrote a lot of it stuff because of like Nuremberg and the whole idea that entire groups of people can treat another group of people poorly because they define them as like a name or something like that. Like, oh, those people are replicants. They're not actually people. And for all intents and purposes in the story, it's like they're just as much people as everybody else. But they got weird postmodern. They can't trust their own memories, and they live like 5 years or whatever. But yeah, so it's like I kind of almost appreciate it. Plus, the visuals in that film are incredible.
Blade
Like,
Runner? You mean the first, the original?
yeah, the original. Yeah, they're incredible. Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
great.
decades ahead of their time. Probably still technically,
Yeah.
there's probably some weird matte lines or whatever, but all done by Douglas Trumbull, who did the visual effects for 2001. But yeah, and it's like all these kind of stuff. It's like you take it for granted, and then you see another film and you realize like, oh, yeah, it's tough. Like you said, you said you didn't see Electric State, but Electric State has that same like intro where they show like Walt Disney created androids in the 1950s for Disneyland, and they kind of progress from point. And there's a war between androids and whatever, and their president is like they all live out in like the desert because of after the war they all got put into a single place and then the president's like Mr. Peanut for some reason because they're all branded.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not a good film. It was on the Razzies for this year, but it's just like it's not that much different in terms of world building and all that stuff. The difference is you go, well, it's a comedy. It's supposed to be funny. It doesn't need to make sense, and
Yeah.
you can do that. But anyways, like I've been rambling. But yeah, by going for all those notes, I was just trying to make some of the comparisons. Like I said, the other stuff I feel like was pulled from District 9, Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell. Detroit Become Human. I haven't actually played the game, but I've seen people talk about it. Like, is corny as like they have like the androids right on the back of the bus. As corny as that is, at least I know what he's going for. Like, I see what you're doing there.
I actually, I think, I actually never watched the movie,
Yes.
but I did play the game, so I kept
Detroit?
the Detroit Become Human.
Oh, it's just a game.
Is
Yeah.
it okay? I thought you mean
Yeah,
like,
no, it's
yeah,
David Cage. Oh yeah, so you
Okay.
got me beat. But like the allegory on that's pretty clear in terms of like the human rights allegory.
I mean I guess the story of
Yeah,
the
depending on the
Human Become
playthrough.
Detroit was pretty straightforward. Like it's
Yeah.
not confusing. It's just like if you understand it, because connect more with like more like relationship. It
Yes.
doesn't talk like too much about like the ideology of like AI, human
No.
emotion,
No.
crimes, whatnot. It's just like more like relationship where the android fighting themselves,
Yeah.
protect these like humans.
Because it's like you got the guy that plays not SpongeBob, because they got like the two cops and they got all the different storylines and all that stuff. Yeah,
In the game, there was like three storyline. Like
That's Mr.
there was
Krabs.
three
Clancy Brown.
characters.
yeah.
You
the,
got
the old grizzled detective
Yeah.
with the young robot.
It's very well made game to be fair.
Seems
and-
like David
yeah.
Cage's best one because some of his other ones get pretty goofy. They turn into like an anime halfway through. Where Indigo Prophecy, I've seen clips where he's like jumping away from giant dust mites and doing like a Dragon Ball Z battle at the end and all that stuff. But yeah, he's French Canadian. I don't know why, but you get like Denis Villeneuve and then you get like a bunch of other you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair.
It's stereotypes, Yeah, Deus Ex, the first game that came out in 2000. You got Deus Ex Revolution, which is more recent. I don't know if you've played any of those ones.
No.
I can recommend Deus Ex. It's they're cyborgs. It's not about AI. Actually, it's very much about AI. But there's a character called Herman, I believe, and he becomes a cyborg to kind of keep doing like to be like a soldier, and he hates the main character because he's basically stuck at that version, and so the main character has less side effects. He's more expensive, all that stuff. So there's all this kind of stuff. It's also a lot about economics, and characters will just sit around and talk about political philosophy. It's very hard to explain. It's like a weird mix of like X-Files and
Yeah.
talking to some guy about libertarianism or something. Like it's a very strange game. And of course we talk about iRobot, which I don't have a ton to say about that, but there's a lot of science fiction things. It's it's a genre. One hand you got like weird, like old Doctor Who, which is like low budget stuff, and then of course you got like Blade Runner on the other side, and I don't know where this would fall in the spectrum of like budget wise, it would fall pretty, towards that, but. I can see why this film didn't really spark much of a conversation when it came out, But yeah, I mean, we gotta stop at some point here. So hey, thanks, Fawn, for being
Yeah.
on here, and sorry I didn't introduce you properly. I
It's all
apologize.
good. Yeah.
I was excited to get the spelling and all that stuff, and yeah, I appreciate you watching all this, watching the YouTube videos and all that stuff. But yeah, this has been Robots, Detectives, and Spies. Like I said, I want to thank Fawn for being on, and yeah, so this has been our thoughts on The Creator.